Psychic Frank's Mystery School. Oh, I look a little weird. Oh, yeah, I'm in New York City. Yes, here I am. NYU. I have a friend I know will get this, my friend in that area. Okay, yes, so I'm Psychic Frank, your host. And where are we going to go today? We've got so much going on. I have the cards pointed out, and I don't think I'm going to go back and forth like I did last time. It takes up too much time and it confuses me. So we're just going to. Okay, I'm I'm so excited. I keep on getting all this information out. Okay, let me get my mind settled here. Okay, eclipse month. Eclipses. Okay. Yeah, we'll have on the 7th, we have a lunar eclipse. And don't worry, I'm going to explain. I'm going to explain it all, well, as much as I can. That's going to be on 7th, and on the 27th, a solar eclipse. Now, the lunar eclipse coming up is, it says, lunar eclipses are cosmic course correctors, cosmic course correctors, pushing us. Eclipses are pushing us. Oh, this is in Pisces, by the way, bringing conjuncting our north node in Pisces. The nodal axis is nice T's Virgo. Pisces away, the north node, south node, Virgo. So it's time now to, you can't analyze paralysis. No, analyze paralysis. No, this is brings fated, life altering shifts for all signs. For years, and I've been doing this, for going on a few decades, for going on five. I just laugh because I don't feel that old. Yeah, I'm going to be 77 in a couple of months. But anyway, I was always saying, the planets don't make things happen to us. They simply reflect what's going on. But no, no, no. Things happening now, even as Pam Gregory, she's like the highest place I could put someone as far as astrological guidance. Pam Gregory, astrologer out of the UK, amazing, amazing woman, and it's free. It's free. Just get on her YouTube channel there. Yeah, and then but the solar eclipse, we'll talk about that later on in the month. They tend to create new beginnings and bright opportunities. Usually they are exciting, often very positive, and bring news. Well, how could it can't get much worse? Ah! No, no, it could. And brings news out of the blue. Yeah, because Uranus now, tomorrow, I'm taping this show on September 5th, Friday. Tomorrow, late tonight or early tomorrow morning, or some by tomorrow, Uranus will have gone retrograde, joining Pluto. Uranus will join Pluto, Saturn, and Neptune, and Jupiter, I believe. Uh, no, Jupiter's not retrograde, but all the outer planets. Jupiter is like the last visible big planet. Then it goes all the ones you need a telescope to see. Saturn, or is it Saturn? I think, yeah, you can see Saturn, I believe. Well, anyway, I'm an astrologer I'm a psychic healer who uses astrology and numerology, but I think everybody needs to be symbolically literate. So that's it. It's all about lunar eclipses are life changing, life changing. And then what's also happening, that I'll refresh your memory, but if you're really into this, get to Pam Gregory did a special video. So if you type in Pam Gregory astrologer slash Saturn Neptune conjunction, yeah, she's done her research and she's went back thousands of years, and she says potency, uh, rarity is potency. She couldn't find the last time Saturn and Neptune were exactly conjunct, 0 degrees Aries, and she went back thousands of years. So everybody, look where 0 degrees Aries is on your chart, because everything's going back retrograde now to where their previous signs. Uh, like Saturn will back is backed up into Pisces, Uranus will back up into Taurus, Neptune will back up into Pisces from Aries to Pisces. and Pluto's not. Pluto's not. Pluto's going to stay in Aquarius. We don't have to worry about that. The planet of death, destruction, and rebirth. It's in actually opposition to our the United States of America's uh, natal chart. I have it right here. All this Aquarius energy is all in our south node, 7 degrees Aquarius. 7 degrees Aquarius, if you could see that. Okay, and with the North Node in the eighth house in Leo, I found something about North Node. This has to do with individuals, but you could do a chart about a business, you could do a chart about anything, a car, a birth, of course, a birth. But you could also do a chart about, like, if you're starting a business, anything that has a birthday, anything that has a birthday. Oh, and once again, okay. Many with these nodal. So I'm reading what I found about the North Node. That's the way now. Every 18 and a half years, the nodal axis changes. So we went from Libra Aries to um, Virgo Leo. Yeah, I think that's the way now. Uh, 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 I mean, no, that's the opposition, rather. No, no, Virgo, Pisces. Excuse me. I'm looking at Leo because we're talking about Pluto now. Pluto in our second house, the planet of death, destruction, rebirth. And we were also born with Pluto in the 27th. They're telling me right now, my guys are telling me the changes happen. And what was like Toll said, Eckhart Tolle said, uh, the changes happen. What we're hearing is the screams of the past, the scream of the dying, the screams of the dying now. That's what we're, yeah, and they're loud. Okay, so say people, so for this, we're looking at the United States chart. Anybody with the North Node, or a business or a country with the North Node in Leo, it says, many with these nodes live a rags to rigid life. The big change coming after the tendency to overlook is turned into an ability to oversee. I love that. And after the tendency to overlook is turned into an ability to oversee. It reminds me, when people fear the government, we have tyranny. When the government fears the people, we have liberty. Keep that in mind. I think that was Thomas Jefferson said that. Uh, their greatest amazement occurs when they discover prior life's talents in themselves that they never thought they had. Happiness is reached once principles are found to dedicate a life to. Furthermore, the principles must be unshakable so that the individual feels he is creating something solid. There is no question but that this is a good leadership material. So as long as so we could, we no coincidence, for a while there we were the leader of the world. And I ain't so now. There was no question then, Lisa. So long as ingrained past life Aquarius sense of fairness is never violated, and that's what's happening now. Uh, Making revolutionary change in what was once established tradition. Yeah, it's like all these horrible things are happening now. Everybody's familiar with what's his name, Orwell, 1984, and even the news is always commenting on it. And this is a book, One Mind by Larry Dossey, and I've been talking about how when I had my last show, I came clean for the first time on film. My out of body experience. It was very emotional for me. I couldn't watch it because in the beginning of that film, that's still on there, it got like 190 views. I was very nervous, and I usually don't get that antsy, but I was shuffling papers around because that was really bearing a part of myself that was wanting to be out there, because I mean, I don't think it was a near death experience because I've read a lot. I'm exhausted. I'm intense when I get into something, and I would have read something where one of these near-death experience, somebody said they asked me if I wanted to stay, and they told me I could go back if I wanted, and then they urged me to go back. I mean, I was so into where I was. What do they say? People are always busy, busy, busy doing for what, doing for them, doing for their self. Or and especially I got the ruling class now. I've got mine. Good luck getting yours. But they say people that are always doing for their self are in for a rude awakening because there is no self. They're doing things for themselves, and there isn't one. There is no self. Think about that. We're all interconnected. We're all interconnected. And then and then this one thing in this, she talks about inner outer body experiences. So I believe I really, I mean, when I was there, I could. Oh, it was beautiful. Everything they explain here, it was just overwhelming. It was like all the love you've ever wanted. And it was the kind of love that cures, heals, regenerates, and the light turned into an exquisitely mandala. Well, everybody has their own little, it's a personal thing there, but that's the essence of it. And I wanted to stay. Oh, yes. And they said, sure, but they said, and then, as I said, all this information was flooding in, and I said, yes, yes. So I came back, and she says, this one woman said, who had this experience similar to mine, the concept of a source, a soul of a higher self that often part of the near best experience is an affirmation of the one mind. As Jung put it, oh, yeah, and then she says, oh no, then she goes over here. She later understood, however, that she was not permitted to remember all that knowledge, only parts of it. That's how all near death experiences report as well. Yeah, and people, I'm sure a lot of people, well, what's the use of that? My soul knows it. My heart knows it. And right now, God, if everybody would just take what I'm saying now and honor their hearts now and forget about your head. Your mind is the caboose. Like this cigar shaped vehicle, saucer. It's not a flying saucer, but it's the size of like a one. I don't know. They say there's all these different reports on its size, but it's gigantic, and it's cigar shaped. And if you look, cigar shaped vehicles have been around since the Renaissance, with reporting stuff like that since Galileo. I believe we are observing. And then you see like the Stephen Hawkins guy, that guy that's dead now, who's like the god of Western science. The man died of Lou Gehrig's disease, which is like Lou Gehrig, the famous baseball player there. It's a horrible way to go. And but he wasn't, you can't compare the two. So everything I say about Stephen Hawkins, you can't say about Lou, because Stephen Hawkins was like, he actually said in so many words, if extraterrestrials exist, they exist for one reason all, to eat us. In so many words, that's what he said. And that we shouldn't even do our outer space that far because we don't want to, rile him up. I don't know. The man was, and then you go, who could have said such a thing? Consider the source. You look at this guy, I mean, it's a hard, at the end, he was just, and I'm not mimicking it, but I'm just saying he was like old. It's just a horrible way to go. And as I said, and then he had to talk through which made him sound like a robot when he said things. And when he said things, I guess when this people just said, "Oh, he knows, he knows. Look at him, the dude's got a bent frame, and he's talking to God." No, he lived in a very, very dark, dark world. And I guess, yeah, if the right one don't get you, the left one will. Where he lived now. Just break that energy. See, when I do this, I'm breaking the energy. So with all respect, and I'm not mocking, but this guy influenced an entire globe, everything that's going on now, from the homeless to everything from the world wars. I don't know how many imminent things are going on now. Uh, and everybody's going, how did we get here? How did we get here, Frank? How did we get here? Excuse me here. I tell you how we got here. Reaganism ruined everything. 1980. See, in the 60s and early 70s, Robert Kennedy, RFK, Martin Luther King Jr., Muhammad Ali. I mean, this broke people up, these assassinations. And the middle class was ruling now. Uh, Unions made sure you got paid by one job, and and you could have a vacation, you could buy a house, you could buy a car every brand new car, no junk off a used car lot every 4 years. And then so the dark forces that be to this day said, oh no, this can't happen. So they knew they had to get Ronald Reagan, a GE light bulb salesman who made all these World War II movies. So the GIs, and between Ronald Reagan and Billy Graham there, oh, at the end of his life, Billy Graham, he saw the light, but it was too late. Now his son has picked up the torch, but that's another thing. The American Taliban now is evangelical Christians, but we're not going to go there. But so Reagan, so even last administration was Obama, um, Biden, Joe Biden, and he was talking about, and then he said it in a stage whisper. It's sort of like Reaganomics didn't work. No, you got to scream this out to the top of your lungs. You can't. No one ever mentioned the word Ronald Reagan's economics, and to this day, nobody's mentioned it. Everybody, I don't know, everybody's elected or wants to get elected now. It's like the third rail. If you mention Ronald Reagan, you're not going to die. I want his name taken off of all of those airports, every place where, and anybody, they showed a clip of the White House the other day, Ronald Trump's White House, and right behind his desk is a picture to the right there, right of state, I don't know, but there's a big, you can't miss it, it's humongous, of Ronald Reagan. This is so whenever you see these homeless people on the street, like Lori, I was watching TV the other day, and I was watching Mayor Lori. I have this mute button on because I'm on the computer. My parrot loves to watch the TV set, I guess, and I like to see things. And all of a sudden, I look up, and there's Mayor Daniel Lori, and I just looked at him because I want to love him. I love everybody, but you're allowed not to like everyone. So I just don't like him because I think he's very deceitful. But that's another story, I guess. So I said, for a lame square, he's kind of adorable in his own little way. Let me see. He can't be that bad, Frank, because even Robert De Niro said he could never play. Uh, 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 Donald Trump. He said to be an actor, and I've heard many actors say this. To play someone, you have to find something lovable in them, and no matter how, for Jeffrey Dahmer, no matter what, there's something. Any actor that's played any fiend, there's got to be some lovable thing in there. Like even Quasimodo, wanted to be a star. There was something obviously lovable in Quasimodo, but. And then Bobby De Niro said he could never play Donald Trump because there's nothing absolutely good in him. God bless you, Bobby De Niro. Okay, so I'm watching the news. I'm watching the news, and I press the mute button, and there's our Mayor Dan Laurie talking about uh, cosmetics. He's going to, like, of course, he said people come in and out from the peninsula into the city, and what he doesn't want them to see the city's homeless on either side of the freeway ramps and stuff. Well, he doesn't want people to see the city, that part of the city, the city in ruins like that. But you are, Blanche. Blanche, you are. The city is like that. The city is like that. He just wants to do a cosmetic thing. It's all about appearances with this guy. He hasn't come up with one creative idea. As I said, on TV, yeah, uh, first was the people, first it was, let's see, the war on poverty became the war on the homeless. Oh yeah, and then as I said, Mayor Laurie, when he was describing this, because I was thinking now, like, because I go to Rainbow Grocery all the time from Hayes Valley. I walk to Rainbow Grocery. I go under the freeway where I see all the people. And one day I was not just last year. I was walking across the where the walk is, and I looked down, waiting for the light to change, and there was a green ball all rolled up in. And I said, "Is that money?" And I went down and picked it up, and someone had, I guess, rolled down the window of their limousine or their chauffeur-driven car, with the windows they can see out, you can't see in, um, and rolled up a couple of 20s and just tossed it out at somebody. So, yeah, people do stay near there because that's where the money is. When if I, those are, I guess, the more the homeless who still have a little spirit, hasn't been beaten out of them. Know that if you're going to panhandle, at least I want everybody who's if you, well, I know anybody who's really living like that. They don't know me or I don't know them, and they don't know about this, but help them make a sign that says Reaganism, so that way when people come off the peninsula and they see someone, and they could, this is Reaganomics. Because back in the 80s, people were all about Frank, 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 give it a chance, and it's an experiment. If it's not going to work, do you think people are going to let it go? Well, look where it went to now. This is it now. This is where Ronald Reagan's Reaganomics, Reaganism, and let's get his picture down. Let's start using that name. Anybody in San Francisco, this goes out to San Francisco, SF Commons, and then I upload it to my YouTube channel, which is Psychic Frank Apostrophe S Mystery School, as I said. But yeah, yeah, back in the 50s. Okay, this is another thing I wanted to talk about. Back in the 50s when TV came along, and I remember radio. That's how old I am. And then we got, with my grandparents listening to my favorite radio shows in Italian, because I didn't speak English until I was around, 6 or 7 there. It's a long story. But anyway, back in the 50s when TV came along, advertisement campaign made laziness a virtue. People are just lazy now. Lazy boy chairs, everything easy peasy. Women don't have to scrub the floors. Niffy jiffy, eat it in a second. It was all about lazy is a virtue. It's a character defect. Carrying it, laziness is a character defect. When I clean, I'm not a career AA person, but when I came after I had my out of body experience, I went right to rehab because I'm glad I did that. I listened to my guys because I had several grandma. I was really, I believe I was dead and came back. It's the last show I did on the 15th of last month, and I explained what happened to me on September 19th of 1982 when I thought I was out of here. I thought, oh gosh, I'm going to kiss in my chips. But when they say you want to make God laugh, tell her your plans. Tell her your plans. So, uh, and it rolled up and tossed out. Okay, so it says, okay, so that's that. And then we talked about that, Bobby De Niro. Okay, so Uranus now, the monkey wrench planet. Okay, so one more time about 1984. This isn't the book 1984, but he talks about transcendence. And before we read that, I want to read what's is on page. Okay, George Orwell, author of the chilling book 1984. This is on page 89 of this book by Larry Dossey, Dr. Larry Dossey. It says George Orwell, author of the chilling book 1984, agreed, saying the major problem of our time. I like the word challenge. Okay, the major challenge of our time is the decay of belief in personal immortality. The major problem of our time is the decay of belief in personal immortality. When I upload this show to my YouTube channel, I will definitely put that quote in there. And then at the end of the book on chapter 29, he says transcendence. And this is uh, by Hermes, some Greek, 18 syllable Greek name here. First Hermes, Hermes, I guess, like the upscale luxury items, Hermes. Okay, and in that day, men will be weary of life, comma, and they will cease to think the universe worthy of reverent wonder and of worship. They will no longer love this world around us, dot, 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 this glorious structure, dot, 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 and to the soul and the belief that it is immortal by nature or may hope to attain immortality, dot, 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 is all this they will mock at and will even persuade themselves it is false. Every time I hear some just this nonsense about YOLO, you only live once. You in your dreams you only live once. No, we're on an endless journey through eternity. If God forbid, perish the thought, we blow ourselves up, tooey, tooey, tooey. It's we'll end up in another. It's a infinitely incomprehensible galaxy and universe. But of course, and it's not. They don't want to eat us. It's this whole thing of like Martin Luther King was right, Dr. King was right when he said it's ultimate universe is love, and that's nothing simple, nothing schmaltzy or sympathetic. Say what he is sentimental. He says it's not sentimental, or it's the way it is. Love is, and right now with these sunbursts, these coming out like never be these some see coronary solar emissions, massive coronary emissions, massive coronary. That was on Jeopardy. What was CMEs? And somebody knew it was massive coronary emissions. They're coming off the sun. Never more light has hit the earth, and than ever before. So the darkness is going down. We're going to go into a period, and Pam Gregory actually explains this at the technical astrologicals for it, of no from bottom. It's right. We're literally on the verge of, the age of Aquarius, for lack of a way, that better way to be cliche there, but. We're all connected. This great awakening. That's what Uranus. So Uranus, planet Uranus, is the only planet that sees things sideways. So it's like, look at it this way, and yeah, so Saturn conjunction is about making the dream real, making the dream real. Yeah, April, May, Saturn leaves, yeah, Pisces, and goes back into, yeah, this coming spring and summer, all these planets will go back to the. But right now, while these planets are retrograde, get in touch with your heart. And what dream did you come in with? I love Bloody Mary in South Pacific, where she's saying, if you don't have a dream, how are you going to make your dream come true? If you don't talk happy talk, it's a big. I love show tunes. I'm a New Yorker, a gay New Yorker, so show tunes is what my life is all about. Uh, I digress. But you dreams. Jiminy Cricket. A dream is a wish your heart makes. If you were sure you couldn't fail, what would you want? What was thinking? Think about it. What do you love doing? If you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. But right off your bat, your mind's going to come in and say, how's that going to happen? The devil's in the details. You make a decision and all kinds of hell. But we're not going to get into all that in this show today. Oh yeah, my favorite show is I love Superfly on YouTube. I was listening to Curtis Mayfield, the game service. Curtis Mayfield, and he was going. The man lived alone. He had a mind of his own, so the man lived alone. Yeah, Superfly. By the way, Gabby and I don't live alone. My parrot, yeah, I'm Superfly. My parrot and I just celebrated our 29th anniversary. She was 2 years old when she rescued me. And yeah, so anyway, so when you see this stuff about Lou Gehrig's disease and that guy, what's his name, Stephen Hawking, because right now they're saying, oh, what's his name, our NASA, the ones that are really ignorant in NASA who believes that their job is military are already, but they know they must be needing adult diapers because this must be really scaring the poop out of them, I'll tell you. But I don't believe for one magic moment that these are nothing but observers who realize we're on the eve of destruction. Oh, you hate your neighbor, but you say grace over and over. Yeah, it says the measure, true measure of intelligence is the ability to change. It's not that I'm so smart. I just stick with the problems longer. Okay. There's some good affirmations if you have a pencil handy, and then we'll get to the tarot cards. I feel safe. I feel safe to be me. I lovingly protect myself and forever forgotten and forever. Myself is for. Oh yeah. Anybody that hurt me, all hurts are forgotten and forget forever. And okay, let's put all that over here. Okay, before I get to the cards, once again, this book by this woman, her name is Lissa Rankin, Rankin, Lissa. She's an amazing woman, and it's called Mind Over Medicine. And we're just going to read the introduction to you here, where she says, she goes, what if I tell you that caring for your body is the least important part of your health, and that for you to be truly vital, other factors are more important? What if the key to health isn't just eating a nutritious diet, exercising daily, maintaining a healthy weight, getting 8 hours of sleep, taking vitamins, balancing your hormones, and seeing your doctor regularly? Certainly, these things are important, even critical factors to optimizing your health. But what if something else was even more important? What if you have the power to heal your body just by changing how your mind thinks, your heart feels, and your life force flows? Simple, I thought health of the human body isn't as simple as thinking ourselves well or worrying ourselves sick. And then she goes on here to say, as I said, just today, because so many people, I live across the street from this little postage stamp park, and and I have a lot of my gay friends hang out there. I've known for years and years, old timers. We don't hang out on boards anymore. We hang out at parks like that, and they're all saying that they confide in me, Frank. Oh, I'm so lonely, Frank. I'm so lonely. I'm lonely. I guess for me, getting old. Why are old people lonely? Because they know they never are. I have my borders around. There's so many spirits around. I deal with so many souls without bodies, and everything I have in my every little living thing in my space, the plants, the bird, and everything has a consciousness. So anyway, I'm never lonely, is what I'm saying. But she goes on here to say, but as it turns out, loneliness. I always used to say, only lonely people get lonely. Only boring people get bored. But the fact is, I guess people are really, really lonely. And she says it. She goes through the whole thing here about how loneliness poisons the body. As it turns out, loneliness can make you sicker than smoking cigarettes, and being part of a supportive community can increase your life expectancy. Don't believe me? And then she goes on for the few next couple of pages about, and then she has the cure for exercises, have the for loneliness. If you live a solitary life, you have either given up trying. Well, I'm a hermit, so I don't count here. She says the truth is that people aiming to be socially acceptable are trying to hit the bullseye of a constantly moving target of acceptability, which I always tell people, you know, I told them write down something on a piece of paper while you're waiting to see me when I do big events, and then of course they print when they give it to me, and but then when they write in front of me, I could tell right off the bat. I look at them and I go, "Wow, it's really important. You want to be understood, isn't it?" And they go, "Yeah, yeah, you're good, Frank. Give it up. You're lucky if you can just leave this life understanding yourself." Everybody wants to be understood. Nina Simone sang about it. While the animals sang about it. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. Well, you're gonna be, Blanche. You're gonna be misunderstood. It comes. That's how you grow. That's how you grow. And then she says right here, you need one for the other. She goes. The truth is that people are aiming to be socially acceptable, are trying to hit the bullseye on a constantly moving target of acceptability, which means staying on top of trends, comparing themselves to others, sacrificing what they really love for what they think others love, and adhering to who to love, who to hate, and adhering to artificial standards of conformity. The cooler you try to be, the more isolated you feel. As Bernie Brown says, the number one barrier to belonging is fitting in. It is a guaranteed recipe for loneliness. It's also a very heavy price to pay, one that can leave you not only lonely but also sick. You may be tempted to seek out social acceptance so you won't feel like misfit or wound up hurt. We all want to feel loved and accepted. We long to belong. But at what price? Is it worth settling out who you are and replacing the real you with some plastic version of constantly recreating to fit today's exclusive acceptability factor, which you can guarantee is different than yesterday's? Nope. Stripping your hands. Yeah. So as I said, look in the mirror, do your mirror exercises, look at yourself, and it's interesting, because this is another one I wish Oprah would talk about. It's by a Japanese guy named Kazu, Kazuhaga, Kazu Hagar, Hagr. Saga, Haga, excuse me. Healing resistance, radical different response to a hurt. And he says this North Star is something we need to or visualize, in our soul's search there for guidance. Years ago, East Point was running a series on parallel workshops in Oakland on Kingian and Dr. Luther King nonviolence workshops at an Oakland high school in San Bruno jail. The high school wasn't in the jail, but it was in the jail. They were doing it simultaneously there. We invited the students and the men inside to write letters to each other about what they were learning. In a letter, one of the guys inside, a student, wrote that he didn't believe that the world without violence is possible. Excuse me. And then it's worse. But if he added, but if we can, a world without violence is possible. Then he added, but if we can, a world without violence is possible. If we can change the heart of even one person, then it's worth working for. And then he talks about the slaves that were looking for the North Star. They were understood that no matter how far they walked, they would never get to that star. It wasn't a point. They knew that as long as they used the star as their guide and continued to walk toward it, they would get to where they needed to go. They wouldn't get to freedom. Uh, the North Star is 323 light years away from the Earth. Sometimes beloved community can feel. They're talking about important being connected to a beloved cosmic community. This interconnectedness, I believe it's all interconnectedness. But whether or not we end oppression, overcome violence, or reconcile all conflict is not the point. The point is to be always looking for direction of freedom. The North Star is the freedom, the liberty. Like walk like a man. No tyrant's words crawling on the earth. Okay, so what do we have here? We don't have the numbers anymore. And I don't want to screw up. Last time we had it all figured out, but I didn't ask Clay how to do. Clay, the guy that helps me around here, I didn't ask him how to do it. So okay, so what we have now in the center of the Celtic cross now, this is where we are. I asked my guys when I put this all out today. I'll move this a lot closer. What we have here is the Nine of Wands. Protect what's yours. I like what this woman here says. Melinda Holmes says about fire, or the signs, and here about the fiery nine. We're in a collective 9 year, by the way. Knowing a lot is great, but the wisest know what they don't know. The ability to see to the end of your knowledge allows you to push against that boundary and to marvel at the vast expanse of the universe beyond what we may never comprehend. This is what I was fishing around, and here it is. Uh, yeah, the ability to see to the end of your knowledge allows you to push against that boundary and to marvel at the vast expanse of the universe beyond that which we may never comprehend. Your experience and study have brought you to this place. In your investigation and explorations, you do not consume information, you engage with it. Let your curiosity lead you further, where your daydreams take you. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, and what's surrounding us is the Five of Swords. Yeah, our mentally now. Five is testing, testing, testing. Here we have the Five of Swords. I see this as she says it better. Uh, Five of Swords. Really, it's easier for me. Oh yeah, nervous energy. This is all. This is so true for all of us. Yeah, I was getting the vibration, but it's easier for me to just. She gets the same on some of the cards. On some of these, it works, and on some of them, it doesn't. Because on some of them, I pick up a card and I'll say, "Oh, what you're looking for is in your mother's hat box in the closet that's downstairs that no one ever goes into." That's not in a book. That comes from your own experience. Okay, a nervous energy permeates every part of your life. This is collectively now, our lives. Our words sound too sharp when they come out or not sharp enough. General confusion leaves us unable to make decisions or answer what we need. The good news is nothing is broken. This is a temporary state. Think of this as your own personal Mercury retrograde period, when Mercury appears to travel its orbits, widely regarded by astrologers to be a time of cross wires and mystic communications. Then that's the parenthesis, without the big payoff. No, the big payoff is paradigm changing stuff now. So what's swirling around us now is it's who's playing Russian roulette, who's yeah, it really is a sick game what's going on now. Okay, what's over our head now is the biggest influence, and here we have, be a dance now. Be grateful of what's going on with you. And we're growing up now. This is the king of emotions now. Fish are jumping, and the summer's over, but this is summertime. This I'm getting here is this guy's doing a little dance, like Malcolm X was saying the other day when the National Guard was forced to go down to L.A. He said he advised, and the people did. It brought the guys pizza, played Motown, were dancing with them. They weren't like picking their face or anything. They were making the guys laugh. Our military guys now are picking up garbage where they could be fighting forest fires. I mean, it's the inmates are running the asylum, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, we're I like what this she says here about the paradigm change. So the biggest influence around us now is our emotions now. See, emotions are important for our, to get us into enlightenment, higher consciousness. So it's important not to eat the menu and eat the menu instead of the meal. So the king and kings are all established. Feel yourself floating like a bubble up through the waters of your emotions until you are floating on the surface. From here, you can feel the waves, but are not overcome by them, no matter how big they get. The infinite ground of being is always there for us. You can see out to calmer waters and paddle your way there or be carried by the current. The King of Cups allows you to observe your emotions and to understand them intellectually. This is an excellent tool for strengthening all relationships in all areas of life. Yeah, conflicts can be examined and resolved. Victims don't heal. Victims don't heal. It's all about this is happening for us, not against us. Um, for us, not to us. Yeah, this is all wind now. All I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. Yeah, the whole world is getting the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and all of us not broken wheels. We don't, we're not getting any grease now, but no, like we're not getting any press now. Smart people are staying out of the press. This is going to be another practically a good 8 or 9 more. How much many months? 6, 9 till next summer before everything's going to settle out. So there's a good chance the National Guard could bang this door now and grab my little 77-year-old butt out of here. I have to start making arrangements for Gabby. I don't put any energy into that, but it's if I only regret that I have but one life to give for my country. See, I don't believe in death. I believe you, and I believe I once again that every time you're doing something for you, everybody's doing things for their self, and there isn't one. Okay, okay. And then let me see how we got to this point. Okay, how do we get to this point? Reaganism ruined everything. It was 1980, 1980, Reaganism. It's a read it, no clever conversation now. People are waking up. As I said, Joe Biden said um, uh, he alluded to it, and he said it like almost like Reagan is. He didn't say Reaganism. He said and trickle down economics, and like he was saying with sympathy. But no, no, I need somebody to say. We need people out there. Somebody's got to say it. Ronald effing Reagan, man. Shake it off, right? It's just it's just like, how do we get here? That's how we got here. It was 30 something years ago. So every point to one thing that's a disaster now that you can't lead right back to him. Ronald Reagan. Actually, when I had a friend up on Knob Hills, he's dead now. I used to take care of her dog and her parrot for her and her husband, who was an admiral once upon a time in the Navy. She's about as square as you could get. And she was always trying to she couldn't stand I was single. And she was always getting me hooked up with one of her hairdressers or dress designers or somebody. And she got me this New York hairdresser was in town to take care of one of the Gettys people, and I went out with him once. He was a bore, and nice restaurant. And he mentioned Nancy Reagan, and I said, "Oh yeah, you do Nancy Reagan's hair?" He said, "Oh yeah, all the time. Whenever she, if she's around in New York when I'm there." And I said, "What's she like?" And she goes, "Oh, is it cool? Is that cool?" She says she kept on asking all the time, "Oh, is that cool?" It was her favorite word, cool. She wanted to be cool. I heard that right from the horse's mouth. Uh, okay, what's our next step here? Ah, pennies from heaven for you and for me. We got to be childlike again. Nobody told a child this can't be done. We got to get back to that. I can do anything, no matter what age you are. There's no more Gray Panthers. And I'm not a joiner, but I'm a Gray Panther. Let's just, it's all about our own sovereignty. Look in the mirror and say to yourself, you demand, Frank, you demand. Or, you know, um, you the woman, whatever you know. Whenever you see yourself walking down a street, you're looking in the mirror, in the window shopping, and you see your reflection. Give yourself a wink and say, "I love you, man. I'm gonna love you like nobody's loved you. Come rain or come shine." And this is the fool. Now, this is beautiful. You know, it's like when hell freezes over, I'll skate. You know, and when you laugh in a bully's face, they freak out. When you laugh in the devil's face, he can't stand it. What does this woman have to say about the fool? Next year will be a universal 1 year for us. So, as I said, and remember what's going on now is fateful. It's engraved in your heart. The heart is the first solid thing, vital organ we have to take shape. And it's the heart is the first, so your heart knows your sexual orientation, uh, your everything, everything. So don't waste your time wondering your energy allowance. Don't piss away your energy allowance on trying to figure out how we got here. This is how we got here. Reaganism, Reaganomics. Reagan ruined everything. Yeah. Okay. And what the fool is all about is zero karma. I love it. It's the zero card there. The fool teaches us that the joy of living is in the present moment. What? Yeah, then these people that are the troublemakers now, these Gestapo people. When you are visited by the fool in a reading, let go of the regrets and nostalgic of the past. The only good thing about the past is it's over. The constipated 50s, sexually constipated 60s, sexually repressed. Yeah, yeah, as I said, back in the 60s when I remember one day I was dating, I was in acting school, and I was a hot item back then. I was like 20. You know, I was still going to go to Vietnam, but they just told me to check in the draft board. And I swear to God, this bartender friend of mine was this gay bar up right off of Park Avenue in the 50s. I think it was called the Tamberlade. And I would wake up at like 11 o'clock at night, set my alarm, wake up at 11 and then hop up bus up Second Avenue and then cross over and get to this place and arrive around 1 and ended at 4 or 5, and one day, and I think Frida Payne was Band of Golden, and then all of a sudden I look over, because Pam Gregory was saying with all these sun flares, memories are coming and going. And she says, and then she says, just let him come and go. Don't investigate him and everything. So the other day, I don't know what I was doing. I was thinking of this bar, and then all of a sudden, I turned around, and there was somebody said to me, "Hey Frank, look over there." And I turned right over to me. It was Lee Radswell dancing with Truman Capote and Jackie Onassis, or she might have been Jackie Kennedy then. So I just. Yeah, I was so jaded then because I worked at Saudi's and I used to see stars, Broadway stars. I met every dolly going on because I was worked right next to the St. James Theater. So, I was used to seeing famous people. But as I just saying, these men, I've lived a very, very rich life then. So, yeah, okay. So, anything's possible in this life. Being present does not. So, as I said, if you get these memories that come back from the past, good or bad. Just let them breathe them in and let them go. Just don't try to figure out everything. Life's a mystery to be lived, not a problem to be solved. I know my friends in New York are watching this. I know, and they know what New Yorkers are pretty jaded. And that's how I used to be. And I think once you're jaded, that you never. Oh, I got to finish up now. Okay. Oh, here's the Blessed Mother at the bottom of everything. Who you believe you are. Wow. The High Priestess and the Tower card. Ooh, ooh, major arcanas. Fate. The fates. The fates. Yeah, live your life right. Stand where you are and pivot if you have to, but dig in your heels now. Stay true to your nature, no matter, don't let anybody show all your, in my case, no way am I going to give every breath, not give every breath I have to cannabis harm reduction. And right now we got Mayor Lori standing on the shoulders of Richard Nixon. London Breed did it. Ed Lee, God, may he have mercy on us. Yeah, so this is how others see us now. Yeah, the people who count know, they know that, holy shit, America, there's good peoples now. As I said, only the squeaky wheels now are getting all the attention. But as I said, I see all on my YouTube, not mine, but I do a lot of YouTube listening to on all the cool channels. And there are always people from Germany all over the place saying, my heart goes out to you, my American friends. And yeah, this is our hopes and fears now. Yeah, we're going to survive this transmission. It's going to be much better than ever. It really is going to be bottom up. But let's start screaming out. Let's just say, Reaganomics didn't work. No, trickle down doesn't work. No, Reaganomics doesn't work. Bing, 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 bing. Scream it. Start doing artwork about it. Hollywood, make a movie about it now. Well, I know that ain't gonna happen now. But okay, right now we got a tiptoe, like I said earlier, when we okay, I gotta get going now. When the government, when people fear the government, we have tyranny. When the government fears us, we have liberty. Okay, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. We're all friends. We're all friends now. We're all connected now. Remember, we're not doing. Whenever you find yourself doing something for or you hear yourself saying, "Oh, myself, I got to do this for me." No. There is no me. There is no self. It's there. Your ego needs. You know what I'm saying. Your ego needs a self, but we're on it. But the key to unlinking the wisdom of you can gain through everything now is. What I just said there. Oh, okay, here it is. Okay, we have 2 more minutes. Okay. Yeah, we will not be contained. We will not be contained. Get out, That was past. I live right near City Hall, and I was coming home from the library the other day, and the Vietnamese were out of City Hall. Yeah, people are, be on the right. Oh, yeah. We're going to get a second chance. It's going to be a whole new, it is a whole new earth is happening, is underway now. Whether the earth, we might need that cigar-shaped vehicle to get us off of this planet. Well, who knows? Use your imagination. I'll leave you with this. People who don't heal don't have the imagination it takes. You need a schooled imagination. You can't let your mind get hijacked by pharmaceutical ads that tell you, want you to own whatever the disease is. And I'll be back in 2 weeks. And I love you. I love you. And I didn't. When I was talking about Stephen Hawking, I wasn't mocking anybody. I'm just saying the man lived in a very dark, dark place, and extraterrestrials aren't here to eat us. And I believe open up and let these people remember it's all Reaganism ruined everything. Reaganism. So if you find yourself, how did this happen? That's how it happened. When people ask you, how did it happen, Mary Beth? Reaganism. I want to hear it. That's what I'm manifesting now. I want to hear that Irish bastard name taken off of everything. That's the best thing I can say. I love you. Oh, as I said, as I left the house today, I gave Gabby a kiss, and she's happy. She doesn't like me being emotional around the house, but I know you guys don't matter. You guys don't matter. Was that a Freudian slip? What I meant is I could be myself with you guys because I know you know me. And I'm not a racist, and I'm not, as I said, I'm not. What do they call people like me? Psychics, charlatans. Yeah, and Kathy, the book about Kathy Acker, her friends thought I was a charlatan. And the woman that gave me the biggest poet friend of hers actually died. Okay, now what I've been avoiding, I'm gonna have to do this myself now. They showed me how to do it, so. So I'll be back in 2 weeks, and we'll talk about the solar eclipse. Look up about the get in touch with your dream, and it's all about making our dream real. And it's all leading up to this major time, the spring and summer of 26, when the Saturn, learn all you can about the Saturn Neptune conjunction coming up, the exact same Neptune conjunction. See you later. I love you.